Dried shrimp sambal or Haebihiam is an authentic Chinese-style sambal found in Singapore and Malaysia. It contains very fragrant shrimps infused into strong-tasting sambal. For my recipe, it's infused with the added touch of Kaffir lime leaves to elevate its taste to a whole new level. It goes incredibly well with rice or porridge, or even as a filling inside bread or buns. And if you're new here, welcome to Gastromania. We upload 2 weekly recipes, so do stay tuned for more yummy recipes. Let's get right into how to make this simple wonder. Let's introduce the main ingredient, the dried shrimps. I have about 200 grams of them, which is quite a large portion for 6 people. I've soaked them for about 30 minutes before this, so they soften and will be easier to chop them up later on. Let's start chopping them. Alternatively, you can use a blender, but I prefer to use the chopping method as I prefer the dried shrimp bits to be slightly larger so the texture is less fine. But I must say that it's quite a challenge to chop so many dried shrimps even after they are soaked, as I'm not used to chopping so many things at once and my arm is pretty sore from this. Set the chopped shrimps aside for later use and let's move on to the next ingredient, the Kaffir lime leaves. This ingredient smells extremely citrusy, just like limes as its name suggests. This is my secret ingredient for making Haebihiam more fragrant and sets it apart from the store-bought kind. We will only be using 3 pieces as its smell is extremely strong. Chop the leaves slowly if you have to, but keep them as fine as possible. The leaves on the right are a negative example and those on the left are the thickness we are looking for, almost like strands of hair. The next ingredient we have on the list is about 80 grams of tamarind paste, or also known as Assam paste. Add about 100 milliliters of warm water and mix it well. It will take some time to mix the paste evenly as there are Assam seeds inside the paste. You will find that as more of the paste dissolves, the Assam water becomes thicker and thicker, and you may have to add some more warm water to fully dissolve it. Once the Assam paste has fully dissolved into the warm water, you can start to drain away the water. You can use a setup of a strainer and a spoon to try and remove the seeds. Or you could just use your hand and squeeze the paste around the seeds and throw away the seeds after the squeezing. I will not be showing that cause it doesn't look so sightly. Once done, set it aside and we will now prepare the rempah. If you have seen my previous videos, then you could probably guess that I'm using the same rempah recipe that I used previously. You can refer to the video on the top right hand corner for more information. For this Haebihiam, we will be needing about 150 grams of shallots and 5 cloves of garlic. Blend them with about 35 milliliters of vegetable oil so that the ingredients will be easier to mince into a paste. You should be able to get the shallot garlic paste with this consistency. Afterwards, blend the remaining ingredients together. We have about 5 large red chillies and 2 small chillies which I have deseeded prior. The white parts of the 2 stalks of lemongrass that I have chopped up finely, 5 candlenuts which I have soaked to make it easier to blend, 40 grams of dried red chillies to make the rempah more fragrant, 10 grams of Belacan which I have dry toasted in a frying pan for about 5 minutes, and lastly, 25 grams of fresh turmeric and 25 grams of fresh Galangal finely chopped up. Blend them until you get a consistency like this, and we are off to the cooking. First, we have to dry toast the dried shrimps. The purpose of doing so is to get rid of the water within the dried shrimps, as well as to get rid of the seafoody funkiness inside the dried shrimps before mixing up with our rempah. This should take about 10 minutes and you can remove it after the steam stops forming, as this means most of the water has evaporated. Afterwards, remove the toasted dried shrimps and set it aside for later use and start to fry the rempah. We first add the shallot garlic paste and fry until the paste turns fragrant. Another purpose of frying the paste is to remove the rawness inside the shallots. Once the fragrance of the paste is released and the color looks something similar to this, add in the remaining ingredients that we have blended into a paste. Mix them up evenly and cook this mixture for about 25 minutes at medium-low heat. Occasionally stir the mixture and we will need to cook it until the oil inside the chilli is being forced out. Once the paste looks something like this, the rempah is cooked enough and it's time to add the Assam water. You can choose to add about half of it if you're not sure how sour your Assam paste can get. Taste later, and then add more if needed. Once the Assam paste has been added, you will notice that this rempah already looks slightly like a sambal. In fact, if you have noticed, if you remove the chili before adding the dried shrimps, this is nasi lemak sambal and it can be used on its own without the dried shrimps. I will make a separate video on making nasi lemak sambal and ikan bilis sambal in the near future, so do subscribe and stay tuned for it. Season the mixture with about 2 tablespoons of fine white sugar, but do not add salt at this point as the dried shrimps can be pretty salty on its own. Once the sweetness is alright for you, add in the dried shrimps and mix it in evenly with the sambal. Mix the dried shrimps evenly with the paste and let it fry for about 2 to 3 minutes to let the Haebihiam dry up a little. Once you reach this point, you can add in the secret ingredient, the Kaffir lime leaves. Turn off the fire before adding the lime leaves as they are cut very finely and they will wilt very fast. Just mix it in evenly and the residual heat from the Haebihiam will be enough to cook the Kaffir lime leaves and release its flavour throughout the dish. If you have not made Haebihiam with this secret ingredient, I strongly encourage you to try it out and let me know how you find it. Just looking at the Haebihiam already makes me hungry. Time to dig in! And we have come to the end of this video. If you liked our simple Haebihiam recipe, do consider subscribing to our channel. We upload 2 recipes a week, so do stay tuned for more. Turn on the notifications bell so that you are reminded before our videos go live. And I'll catch you in my next video.